Let's now begin this bulletin with some breaking news coming in. The Ministry of Defence in India has put out an update that is on the situation at the eastern Ladakh border, where China has violated the status quo at the line of actual control. Once again, this is breaking news coming in, and we will give you updates as and when we get them. China's PLA troops violated the previous consensus on 29th and 30th August, and Indian troops preempted the PLA's activity on the southern bank of Pangong Tso Lake, and also undertook measures to strengthen India's positions and thwarted China's intentions to unilaterally change the facts on ground. A brigade commander level flag meeting is now in progress at Chushul to resolve the issues on hand, and the consensus that was arrived at during high-level military and diplomatic engagements during the ongoing standoff in eastern Ladakh and carried out provocative military movements to change the status quo. This is some breaking news coming in. A statement has been put out by the Government of India, and it clearly states that the situation seems to have escalated at the border, and on the night of 29th to 30th August, China's PLA troops did in fact violate the consensus that was arrived at during very high-level military and diplomatic engagements that have taken place recently during the ongoing border standoff in eastern Ladakh, and has since carried out provocative military movements and tried to change the status quo. And now, for more updates on this breaking news, we have Siddhant Sibal joining us live. Siddhant, thanks so much for joining us. Tell us, this is definitely an escalation of the situation on ground. What can you tell us about this new development?
Well, it's a major development, a second major violent face-off between India and China in a matter of few months. We know on 15th of June the Galwan incident happened. This time the incident happened in the southern tip of the Pangong Lake. The Indian army was ready and thwarted the intentions of the Chinese. But this is a major worrisome sign that relationship between India and China is on a downward trend. And of course, right now, other than the statement, there is no word coming from the South Bloc sources.
Right.
What they told that the incident happened on the night of 31st and 30th of August, and it looks like I'm saying this with a lot of caution that the situation is still developing. It looks like that, but by and large, the Indian side has released an official statement confirming that this incident has happened. There is no details on any casualties, right, but like there is no casualty as of now, but this is a developing story. So as of now, we are waiting for more information to be given.
Right. Just reading out the statement put out by the Government of India, some very provocative statements here saying that China in fact did carry out provocative military movements to change the status quo at the border, and Indian troops preempted this activity. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Well, the Indian side was ready in terms of any unilateral action being taken by the Chinese, because remember the Galwan incident was the unilateral action taken by the Chinese, and then of course we know that India lost 20 of its soldiers, and since then India has been cautious about the situation on the ground at the LAC and all the three sectors, whether it's the western sector, central sector, or which is of course the middle sector, or it is the eastern sector. So situation, if it develops, the Indian army was ready, and this is what happened. In fact, the Chinese side tried to unilaterally change the situation despite the consensus. Let me tell you that there have been a number of rounds of talks between the Indian side and the Chinese side, diplomatic level both and military level, and despite this, the Chinese side tried to change the situation on the ground. We do expect some reaction from on the diplomatic front as well, but I can say with definite surety, it looks like India-China relationship this year has not on the downward trend, but it looks like absolutely disastrous for the two Asian countries. In fact, the Indian Defence Minister will be going to Moscow later this week. He will be going for the SCO Shanghai Cooperation Organization Defence Ministers meeting. There were speculations which were going on that he might be meeting the Chinese Defence Minister, but now I can say with surety that there will be no meeting, no handshake with the Chinese counterpart.
Right. Now, let's backtrack a bit, Siddhant. We know since the border clash took place on June 15, there's been a lot of back and forth between the ministries of the two nations. There have been a lot of high-level diplomatic and military talks. So what do we make of the situation on ground so far, and was this expected from China?
Well, was it expected? It looks like it was expected. The Indian Army statement clearly says that they were ready if the Chinese side tries to change the situation on the ground in any manner. About the talks, well, there were a number of rounds of talks which were taking place. The releases by both sides were similar. The Indian side saying that disengagement should be completed, but there were some points such as the Pangong Lake, where, of course, the violent pass off, it looks like, has taken place. To use the phrase, but what the Indian Army statement clearly mentions is that the entire incident took place in the south bank of Pangong Lake. One thing I can tell you that as we have been reporting that from finger 5 to finger 8 of the Pangong Lake, the Chinese side were consolidating their position. They weren't moving. The Indian side had clearly told them, categorically told them that they need to move from that position. And now the situation has up. So it looks like the rounds and rounds of conversation which the Indian side, the Chinese side had was of no purpose. In fact, it looks like it was a delay method by the Chinese, so that there is delay in the entire situation, and Chinese side could consolidate. So Indian side was ready on that terms. But what next is the big question. Next 2 weeks we'll see two big engagements in terms of SCO. One, of course, is the defense ministers meeting, which I've already told about, but also the SCO foreign ministers meeting, where the Indian foreign minister, the Chinese foreign minister, and the Pakistani foreign minister, all three will be present. But now it looks like there will be no meeting between the Indian side and the Chinese side. There were, of course, speculations going on as well. But of course, this is one of the biggest stories of this year, how India-China relationship has taken a toll.
Definitely. But Siddhant, can you also backtrack a little bit and tell us about the core issue of this border standoff? What is China seeking to gain from trying to change the status quo at what was once a peaceful border front?
Well, that's the big question. That is something that has taken the Indian side by surprise, because at a time when COVID crisis is something that is the biggest worry for everyone, a virus which, of course, whose first case was reported in China's Wuhan. Of course, after that situation was very precarious globally. People were trying to fight the COVID crisis, and suddenly China, out of the blue, trying to become aggressive, not only with India, but with other of its neighbors. And of course, with India, it was the worst situation, given the fact that India lost 20 of its soldiers. The Chinese side also accepted that they suffered casualties, but never came out with the figure. But it looks like China has found this opportunity amidst the COVID crisis to assert itself and perhaps coming of age. That is the thought process, which, of course, perhaps is going on the mind of the Chinese, especially the Chinese President Xi Jinping. But nobody knows what does China wants. It looks like now the world is being divided into various alliances. One alliance, of course, is the Democratic Alliance. Alliance in which India is there, US is there, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and all these countries, democratic countries, are facing some kind of wrath by the Chinese. Australia facing the trade war. In fact, the Japanese facing an issue over an island, the Shinkaku Islands. We know about the US, what is going and happening with the US, but largely it looks like the Chinese are trying to find an opportunity to assert, especially, of course, in Asia. And in Asia, they perhaps want to have this dominance, and the only country that can give them an answer is a democratic country, which, of course, is India.
Right. All right, Siddhant, thank you so much for your updates. We'll come back to you for more as we need more updates. For now, Brahma Chelani, the Professor of Strategic Studies at Centre for Policy Research, is joining us live from New Delhi for more updates on this breaking news. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Tell us, what do you make of this news development? Is this a clear sign of escalation at the border?
Well, it's been over 4 months since the Chinese intruded into Indian areas. They intruded in late April. There have been series of clashes. What happened day before yesterday was certainly a continuation of China's aggression. It could signal an escalation by China at the Pangong Lake area. The previous clashes at Pangong Lake occurred on the northern banks of that lake. The latest episode has occurred on the southern banks of the lake, and it underscores the fact that China is still seeking to incrementally enlarge its encroachments in the Pangong Lake area. So the latest clashes certainly underscore the ongoing aggression by China and the challenge that India faces.
Right. Mr. Chilani, I just request you to stay on lines with us. We also have Brigadier Mahalingam joining us on the phone lines for more insights on this breaking news. Sir, tell us, what do you make of this breaking news coming in? What are China's intentions at the moment at the border?
See, as far as I can see, China has not accepted, and it was not expected of them to withdraw from these places,
right,
which they have come in and forcibly occupied. Now, this only confirms that, number one, and secondly, it gives a very clear message to the government of India that it is in no mood to leave these places. In fact, one has to now think and find out as to up to which area are they intending to sort of capture and consolidate. And to that extent, we will have to take necessary measures.
Right.
Number one. The second aspect that I would like to mention is China is bent up on doing this on two accounts. One is this particular area gives depth to Chinese Aksai Chin area, as also to its G219, the important roadway which connects Aksai Chin and rather Tibet and Xinjiang province.
Right.
Therefore, they want to have this depth provided and sort of contiguity with the area of the Gilgit-Baltistan, after which Pakistan has ceded a certain portion to China. Therefore, we have to see that in one context. The second issue is that China wishes to tell India, or in fact give a message to India, that it cannot be with them and also with the United States. It is not at all liking India hobnobbing with the United States, and it perhaps wants to teach India a lesson. Therefore, this is time for government of India to look at the whole thing and act so that this issue doesn't escalate. In fact, as I see it, there is only one option that we have, and that is to take the offensive, subject to it being feasible.
Right. Sir, I'd like you to stay with us while I take another question from Mr. Chilani. Sir, tell us, what do you make of China's intentions at the moment, especially when it comes to what it seeks by changing the status quo at the border, and what does this mean for the future of India-China relationship, which has already been strained this year?
I think we need to face up to the fact that the Chinese are in a mood to take on India militarily. They have massed tens of thousands of forces along the frontier with India, not just in Ladakh, but in the entire LAC, stretching from Ladakh to Arunachal Pradesh. And the latest episode of Chinese aggression underscores their intent. We have been in a state of denial in the first 2 months after the encroachments happened in the months of May and June. The government of India tried to obscure those encroachments and also tried to downplay the clashes that occurred in May and June. There were a series of clashes starting from early May, and the government of India tried to play down those clashes, describing them as minor until the 15th of June. Major clashes occurred at Galwan Valley. Now, what has happened in the latest episode is a further continuation of what happened on June 15th. And we need to stop now pretending that this can be resolved through talks. Today, again, talks are underway, but the talks are not going to solve China's aggression. And we need to face up to the reality that what India confronts is an undeclared war by China.
Right. All right, Mr. Chilani, thank you so much for all your inputs on this story. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Let's go over to Brigadier Mahalingam, who's still on the phone lines with us. Sir, tell me, now the Indian Army has said that it took action well in time. What does that mean? And what is the high-level meeting that is currently underway? What results will it reap?
See, first of all, as far as the defensive action which they have taken necessary action. It implies only thing is that they must have moved certain troops and put them in position to ensure that the Chinese do not further ingress into Indian territory. That is the action that India must have probably done. And as far as the other issue is concerned, that could you please repeat that question?
Yeah, so I just wanted to understand what could be the result of this high-level meeting, a brigade commander-level flag meeting, which is in progress right now to resolve these issues at hand. What could be the result of that? And what can we expect?
As far as the military commanders level talk is concerned, it must be very clearly understood. It pertains to the methodology of withdrawal from these places. Now, this will only follow based on the political instructions that the military gets. Now, as far as I can see, till now, the Chinese military has been discussing, but without any concurrence from its political heads. Therefore, in the case of China, it is not the Chinese Defense Ministry, but it is a Central Military Commission headed by Xi Jinping, which has got to take a call. It has not taken a call, obviously, because perhaps it doesn't want to. As far as the military commander's level is concerned, as long as a political decision is not given with regard to withdrawal, there will be status quo and no change will take place. As I see it, and in fact, I have been telling right from day one that the Chinese who have entered are not going to be in any mood to withdraw from wherever they are.
Right. Sir, we'd just like to remind our viewers that this is breaking news coming in about China yet again violating the status quo at the LAC. A strong statement has been put out by the Government of India where it clearly says that on the night of 29-30th August, PLA troops violated the previous consensus that was arrived at during military and diplomatic engagements during the ongoing standoff in eastern Ladakh and carried out provocative military movements to change the status quo. And in response, Indian troops preempted this PLA activity, in fact, on the southern bank of the Pangong Tso Lake and undertook the required measures to strengthen India's position and thwart any such Chinese intentions to unilaterally change facts on ground. As we know for now, a brigade commander-level flag meeting is in progress to resolve these issues at hand. Now, sir, another question for you that... could you just tell our viewers a little bit about the Galwan Valley standoff and what really led to a spark at a border that was largely peaceful for years?
See, in fact, the reason is the Chinese intentions. Chinese must have planned this coup quite some time back. It is naive to believe that it happened all of a sudden. No, it hasn't happened that way. The Chinese exercise was to be on, and China must have planned this as a part of that exercise. And in fact, whatever has happened, it is basically the Chinese intention to secure certain area within the LOC so that it could consolidate and sort of increase its demand for territory in this area. Therefore, as we see it, what is happening now is that China is trying to further move to a place of tactical advantage to their military and then to consolidate. Once they consolidate, I believe that the Chinese may agree to withdraw from wherever up to the place where they need where they need tactically to retain that place. And in other words, they will not withdraw from the place from where they will carry on staying so that it is tactically advantageous to them.
All right. So we'll just come back to you for a few more questions. Joining us again is our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal. Siddhant, tell us, do you have any updates on the situation at the border right now? Do we know if any casualties have been reported? What's going on right now? Right, Siddhant, my question to you is, what's the recent development at the standoff at the border right now? Do we know if any casualties have been reported? What is happening on the border right now?
Well, as of now, there is no update other than the release. And of course, the Indian Army has confirmed that this is the violent standoff took place, or in fact, the clashes took place in the southern tip of the Pangong Lake. There is no word on the casualties, but I do not think that the Indian Army will hide any casualty numbers, because in the past as well, when the Galwan incident happened, the Indian Army was quick to confirm the number of casualties and even updated later on. But it was I would use the word very dictatorial China, which is hiding the numbers. So do expect more details in terms of conversations which are taking place, because even as we speak, the conversations are taking place at the local level between both India and China to make sure that the situation does not escalate fast. But it does not look like the Chinese sides are going to, in terms of improving or perhaps changing their way of dealing with other countries or neighbors, or of course India, because nobody in a sense would have expected a second Galwan type incident, and this has happened. Of course, this time around the Indian Army was ready to make sure that if the Chinese side tries to unilaterally change the situation, they will get a strong response.
Right. Now, Siddhant, tell us a little bit more about China's agenda. We know we've been hearing about China's expansionist agenda for a while now in different areas across the globe. And now again, another provocation at the border, when in fact, we've been wondering if these diplomatic level talks have actually borne any fruit. So why do this now, when the world is looking at China and critiquing its methods?
Well, China is finding this as an opportunity. It's finding COVID crisis as an opportunity, and perhaps that is why it's indulging in such kind of very provocative action with its when it comes to India, when it comes to Japan, when it comes to even Central Asian countries as well. But if you look at the Chinese stance currently with its neighbors, it is only perhaps Pakistan with which it has a positive relationship, and that too perhaps because of the Mammoth infrastructure project, the China-Pakistan economic corridor. But by and large, it looks like a new China, a China which is much more aggressive, and a China considers itself as a power already, and a power which is an aggressive power. So do expect a strong reaction by the Indian side, both at the military front, both at the diplomatic front. In fact, the Indian government sources that recently said that even military option is on the table, but it looks like how the Chinese side is indulging. The diplomatic talks are not going to lead to any further improvement in perhaps relationship or on the ground.
Right. We'll just like to take a question now from Brigadier Mahalingam again. Sir, tell me, was this expected from China? Should we be surprised that China yet again has led to another provocation at the border?
See, if you may recall, during the military talks, the Chinese side had indicated, or rather wanted, both India and China to withdraw from their present position to a certain distance. In other words, what China wanted was India to go further beyond the existing place where India is holding, which already has been further ingressed by the Chinese military. So therefore, that, to my way of looking, it is China's requirement was to secure certain areas. So it wanted India to go behind, so that the area up to which it wanted to secure itself for tactical advantage, it could secure either by talks or by other means. That perhaps is one of the reasons that the entire thing seems to have happened. Now, let me tell you, the military level talks as at present is of absolutely no use. It is not going to produce any results until and unless the matter is taken up at a higher level, perhaps at the level of the foreign minister, to ensure that the Chinese government in principle agrees to vacate the place and get back to the March 9. It is, I don't think that will happen, but that is worth trying. The military commanders' talk, as I see at present, is meaningless.
Right. Sir, just stay with us as we bring our viewers up to date. Now, on your screens is a statement coming from the Indian Army where it clearly states that on the night of 29-30th August, PLA troops violated the previous consensus which was arrived at during military and diplomatic engagements during the ongoing standoff in eastern Ladakh. And the PLA did in fact carry out provocative military movements to change the status quo at the border. Indian troops, of course, preempted this activity on the southern bank of Pangong Tso Lake and undertook the measures that were required to strengthen India's position and thwart any Chinese intentions to unilaterally change the status on ground. Now, let's take another question on this topic, Brigadier Mahalingam. Tell me about China's expansionist agenda at large. It's been trying different things on different borders across the globe at a time when the world is battling a pandemic. Is the timing of this yet again suspicious?
See, if you see the Chinese pattern, take for example the Scarborough Shoal in the South China Sea.
Right.
Or, for example, what is happening today in Taiwan. The mission is quite simple, to get territory. It is now even gone to the extent of now claiming the China's places territory in presently held by Russia.
Right.
Also in Central Asia, it is making efforts to seize territory. It is happening in Tajikistan, as at present it has established certain posts right inside Tajikistan's territory. Therefore, as far as here in India is concerned, it is bent upon ensuring that the Arunachal Pradesh, which is with that, is taken over. And number two, it consolidates its position in Aksai Chin and to give depth to the G219, the National Highway G219, which connects Tibet with Xinjiang. Therefore, these two issues make it necessary for China to grab these territories. This they will do, if not now, over a period of time. The Chinese are very patient and they keep doing it in a very slow and mild process. Generally, they don't get involved in such firefights. Now, this time, unfortunately, perhaps because they were in a hurry, because they probably wanted to make use of the time and the situation created by the pandemic, that they went into this particular mode. Therefore, right. I think they will continue to grab territory and slowly. And this happened, you should take a look at what China did in the South China Sea. Today, irrespective of which country says what, there is no option available in the world other than to physically evict Chinese from the occupied territory in the South China Sea. That is the fact of reality.
All right, sir, stay with us. We'll come back to you for more questions. Siddhant, who's still with us, our principal diplomatic correspondent. Siddhant, we know a lot of back and forth had happened in the last few months between the two countries. India, of course, has taken strong action against China, especially when it comes to Chinese business interests in the country. So now what more can we expect now that this is a clear sign of an escalation at the border?
Well, since the Galwan incident, we have seen the anti-China sentiment rising fast here in India. In fact, it now matches the anti-Pakistan sentiment. And since then, we have seen the government of India taking a number of decisions in the tech space, in the education space, restriction of visas. And of course, there are, of course, reports now coming that India might soon announce that there will be no Chinese companies that will participate in the 5G space as well as on 5G space. So it looks like more such decisions are in offing. The Indian government has put more scrutiny when it comes to investment coming from China. So perhaps to get a minor tactical gain on the ground at the LAC, China has completely lost India forever. It looks like the relationship has gone back 20 or 30 years. And it doesn't look like that the informal summit, the mechanism that was initiated by the Indian side after the Doklam incident, 2018 saw the first informal summit in Wuhan. Then, of course, the Chinese president came to India's southern state of Tamil Nadu for the second informal summit. This time, it doesn't look like that the informal summit is going to take place now. In fact, India and China are marking the 70 years of establishment of diplomatic relationship. And one of the key outcomes of last year's informal summit in Tamil Nadu was that there will be 35 events that would take place in India and 35 events that will take place in China that will increase people-to-people engagement. Of course, the COVID crisis had hit that entire development, but it doesn't look like that India will be now keen in taking part as well. In fact, over the weekend, Beyond reported how India withdrew from the Russia-backed exercises that is going to take place in September over the presence of the Chinese soldiers, because the government source told Beyond that they would not like to see Indian soldiers marching side by side with the Chinese when currently this is the situation. So it looks like the relationship is completely gone in a very downward trajectory.
Right. All right. Siddhant, thank you for that. Now, joining us again on the phone lines is Dr. Shrikant Kondapalli, who is a professor in Chinese studies at the Jawaharlal Nehru University. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us, what do you make of this recent escalation at the border, and what are Chinese intentions right now?
Hello.
Hi, Dr. Shrikant, can you hear me? The question that I have for you is, what do you make of this recent escalation at the border, and what are China's intentions at the moment?
I think the military diplomat government had the Chinese government. So far,
all right, we have some audio issues with that call. We'll get back to him as and when we can. For now, let's go back to Siddhant and ask him. Siddhant, tell us a little bit about the future of the India-China relationship given the current crisis at hand.
Well, it looks like the relationship is in a dark now. It doesn't look like it that there will be normalcy in the relationship, perhaps the 2018 normalcy or 2019 normalcy, given how the Chinese have acted with the Indian. Once, it's twice now. Twice the violent face-off has happened at the LAC. Now it looks like the situation is very, very bad. This is the confirmation of the relationship going into a very, very negative territory. So it looks like now the only course of action will be that how India forms or becomes part of a democratic alliance led by Washington, Tokyo, and Canberra. In fact, the Quad meeting, the Quad Foreign Ministers meeting, this will be the second Quad Foreign Ministers meeting, is being planned later this year. The last Foreign Ministers meeting of Quad countries happened last year on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in September. And this is something that China will be closely watching. But by and large, it looks like it is China versus the rest now.
Right. All right, Siddhant, we'll come back to you for more joining.